Hello everybody, it's Aj here once again with episode 5 of the Sim Airport Let's Play series. In the previous episode we had a bit of a stress test, so to speak, of our airport capacity with a busy day in terms of flights and passenger numbers. Day 5 is shaping up to be a similar day. We should start seeing our first passengers arriving. In fact, there's a couple now. Overnight, in game time I should say, I went through and added extra plants into my airport, which has increased the environment rating for a lot of the terminal space. You can also go ahead and add some more of these flight information screens. Perhaps put a couple along this southern wall and some on the eastern part of our terminal by gate B1. That should help our passenger satisfaction. Just hovering around 80% at the moment, which is not too bad at all. Obviously, to do that, we're going to need some extra money. So once we get our first couple of flights in for the day, we should have enough to put these information signs in position. Still have no more PM flights offered to us, because we do have slots available in the evening hours. Also no early AM flights. Hopefully they will start to come as we improve our passenger satisfaction and get a better airline interest. It's risen to 51%. I think it starts out at around about 34%. That's our first two flights away. No delays so far, and both received all their passengers. Another on-time arrival. So far so good this morning. Nearly $1,000 revenue for the coffee kiosk already today. Likewise with the pizza joint. We're only at 9 AM and we've only had 3 flights. Well, 4 including this one at our airport so far, so looking good there. Again, so far our arrival and departure times have been good. So let's continue as we are for now, while we get a surplus of cash together to get a good few of these flight information display screens placed in our terminal. So we have a pilot waiting. I'm guessing he'll be replacing the pilot on the Aerostar 4782. And let's see how much these info screens cost us. $1,000, so we can put a couple of them down. Okay, so I can't put it that way facing. I can put one there. Oops, and then have a couple just up here. Once those guys arrive to construct them, we'll see how we're looking on our information heat map. There we go, so they're all now in place. So that's a little better. That should help stabilize our satisfaction. Oops. I'm just looking through the options down there. So we're approaching midday. Still no problems with either any late arrivals or departures. And again, all our flights thus far have been fully loaded. That was an interesting taxi manoeuvre right there. So our satisfaction is still just above 80%. If we could tackle that hunger issue, obviously that will need a second food store. And as I've said, that's not something we can really put down until we expanded our floor space. Which, just for reference, if we pause it right now and have a look how much it would cost. So we're looking at 53,000 for that side. $71,000 for that side, so we need to get a lot of money together before we can think about expanding there. So this is like a very busy flight. 99 passengers. Now they've all cleared security. A couple are using the restrooms, but that's fine. Let's have a look at this guy. I think we can only check him once boarding actually starts, so let boarding get underway, and I think now we should be able to check. Yes, again they've all cleared security already, which is good. Just go ahead and run the game time a bit while these get loaded. So another early arrival and departure, which is excellent. This current plane that's been loaded at gate B1 was late arriving by 7 minutes. It's due to arrive in just over half an hour. Now hopefully it can get these passengers loaded before then. There we go. So still got 20 minutes until he's due to depart, so should be good for, yes, there we go. So again, so far so good. Haven't missed a passenger yet, which is always good. Excellent. And he's going to be an early departure as well. Just waiting for another 30 or so passengers. And they're all in the vicinity, aside from this guy who's just making his way over. Oh, sorry, there's a gal who's making her way over. Do apologise. Let's just see if we've got any. No, still no extra PM flights offered, which is disappointing. I would like to increase our number of evening flights and try and pick up some early hour flights as well. Just so we have revenue more constantly around the clock, because as it stands at the moment, between the hours of say 2200 and 0400, we're not making any revenue at all. And from a business point of view, we want to try and get 24-hour profits. So this plane is now taxiing. Then we have the Atlantic the Atlantic International 618 to arrive at 9 o'clock. And that's day 5 completed. Just check they've all been. Yes, not had any missing passengers so far today. I'll say so far because I don't want to jinx it. Excellent, so he's ready to head off on his journey. Then we'll have our last arrival. Here we go. Good money making on the 2 kiosks again today. There we go. That's the airport now closed in terms of passengers for the evening. Let's see how we did today. So our income dropped off a little, but not much. But our expenses did come down quite a lot. So we still can't afford to research VP Finance. Might be worth actually researching this lower interest rates. That'll increase our profit margins because the amount we're paying in terms of interest on our loan will obviously drop down. Now, even if we maxed out our loan to 100,000, we couldn't afford to do the full renovations that I'm planning to do. That's why I've avoided taking that loan so far. We'll be left with half a job done, and that's not something I want. So that's day 5 complete. We're now into day 6. At this point, we'll just have a quick look at the flight status for today. Again, relatively busy, couple of 100 plus flights, 1, 2, 3 of them. These two are often busy flights. It's interesting to see that today we have a busy flight in the evening, and tomorrow one of our busiest flights, in fact our busiest flight tomorrow, is one of the early morning flights, which is quite interesting. Just go ahead and see if any new flights are offered to us at this point. There are offered flights, but they're not for the time slots we want. So we'll check that later. Okay, so today I'm going to try and resist spending any money. And then we can see truly what our profit is on a day-by-day basis, roughly, without it being inflated or adjusted for construction costs or R&D costs. So instead we'll have a hands-off day, in a manner of speaking. Just let the airport run. We've had 2 busy days so far, and 2 successful days on those busy days, so pretty confident our airport can handle day 6 with little intervention on my part. There are improvements I want to make, as I said, but for the time being we just can't afford to do that, so I'm happy to keep things as they are, just while we build a bit of a cash up. So we'll check our flight status just to make sure everything's running smoothly. Yes, both our arrivals and departures have all been ahead of schedule today. Airline interest is slowly rising. We're now at 55%. Still nothing new offered in terms of contracts. That's just a case of waiting them out. I think once we start to see a bit of expansion. Okay, he just taxied himself across the grass, which was interesting to see. I've been on a lot of flights in my time, but I've never taxied across the field before. That must be a novel experience for the passengers. Although on flights you see those people who, as soon as they hear the screech of the tyres touching down on the tarmac, they're straight up getting their bags out of the overhead locker bins, so I think they'll enjoy the corners being cut by just ploughing straight across the airport grass. Me, I'm never in that much of a rush to get off the plane. You've got to wait for your bags anyway. The only times I've been in a major rush is when I've had a short connection. One of the shortest I think I've had, and I don't know how this compares to other people, but one that sticks out in my mind is I was flying from Brazil. I think it was either Brazil or Argentina. I think it was Brazil. Back to the UK. But I had a layover in Switzerland. Change flight in Switzerland. So from Brazil or Argentina, I think it was Brazil. Sure, almost certain it was Brazil. Into Switzerland, into Zurich Airport. Change and then on to Manchester Airport from Switzerland. We landed in Switzerland, and I seem to, I can't remember the exact timing, this is a number of years ago now, but I seem to remember, or the number that, comes to my mind when I try and remember, is I'm sure I had about 70 minutes layover time, and in that time, because I travelled from outside of the European Union, I did have to go through immigration at the airport, which is no quick process, even if you are an EU citizen, which I still am for now, but I'll not get into the politics there. But yes, that was the shortest layover I ever had, and made it, but wasn't the most comfortable or enjoyable of stays at an airport that I've ever had. Now, I suppose a lot of people have a favourite airport. I think my favourite airport would probably be Changi International, which is, if you're not aware, that's the airport what services the city-state of Singapore. It's a busy airport, a very busy airport, but it's also quite a nice airport, and I've flown there very often. This is all related to employment in a past life before I settled down and got married and had kids, and couldn't be going away all the time with work, so did a lot of travelling back then. Really enjoyed it. Saw a lot of the world. Great fun. And through my little rambling, we've managed to see out day 6. So we'll let this plane depart. We'll actually let the time tick over to midnight for any extra staff expenses that need to come out between now and midnight, like so. And then we can check our cash flow graph for today. And then I think after that, once that's been analysed, we'll wrap this episode up. So there we go, we're now on day 7. Let's see how we did. See, day 6 we had an income of 59,000, which the day we took out the loan notwithstanding, I believe that's our best day so far. Just about. So our day-to-day running expenses, without any incidental costs such as R&D and construction, that came out at just shy of 49,000. So we're doing pretty well, I think. Our airport's valued at 2.3 million. At the minute, a bottleneck really is the amount of space we've got. However, this lower interest rates that we're currently researching should help us out. That'll drop our interest rate to 6%. And then if we research lower interest rates too, which will cost us 26,500, that'll drop our interest rates to a lowly 3%, just for comparison's sake. No, it doesn't actually tell you what the interest rate is. I could work it out from here, but it's coming up for 2 AM and I'm far too tired to be doing that any sort of maths in my head like that, so I'm sure there's some people who are screaming it at their screen because I'm sure it's blindingly obvious, but right now I cannot see it, so I do apologise for that. Anyway, yes, we'll wrap this episode up. Another busy day. Let's just check how successful we were. Let's go back to yesterday. So all flights were fully loaded in terms of passengers. All flights departed ahead of schedule, and all flights, they all arrive ahead of schedule. So far so good. Ooh, just about by 1 minute, but it's still ahead. I'm still taking. We had one delay there by 7 minutes on arrival. But yes, other than that, a very successful day. Very pleased with that. Before we finish off, I just want to quickly check. No, we still have no new available contracts. Not sure what we could do to try and encourage some early AM and PM flights, but I'll look into that. It might be a thing that happens over time. I mean, bear in mind we're still only on about to start day 7, so still very early on in the game. Still a lot of work to be done. Obviously, remember we can purchase extra land around our airport, so there's scope for expansion. We can go above and below ground as well, so there is a lot of room to grow, and I'm looking forward to it. Actually, really enjoying this so far. It's quite fun. I kind of like the cartoony graphics it's got. I think they're cute, shall we say. If some of the sprites do look a little odd, such as this fella wearing his aviators inside, but hey, as long as he does his job well. Anyway guys, I'll wrap this episode up now. Thank you for joining me and watching this episode. As always, any comments you have are more than welcome. If you want to leave a like, again, please go ahead and do so. On the flip side, if you didn't enjoy the video and you want to give it a thumbs down, that's entirely fine. You know, that's what the option's there for. I'm not going to begrudge anybody who opts to use it. If they provide a bit of constructive feedback as well, excellent. However, if you are enjoying the series, obviously feel free to subscribe to make sure you don't miss any future installments. And if you haven't already done so, you can check out the other videos in this series, or one of the other series that I've uploaded, focused on the Railway Empire game. But all that to one side, just want to say thank you for joining me once again. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.